Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we are going to review the Zippo FIREFAST torch. This is a product that I had great hope for when I ordered it. For one thing, because it advertised a variable flame that could go from soft yellow to blue torch, the way they describe it there. We'll take a look at that here in a moment. But as great as my hopes were for this product, my frustration since getting it has been even greater. There is a child safety lock in the form of a palm pistol safety grip, which for me renders this torch unusable. You can depress it with the other hand and then pull the trigger with a finger from the other hand, but the use for which I'm going to use this is going to require a free hand. I need to operate the torch with one hand only, and it just can't be done. No matter how I try to depress well, there I did it one time. Anyway, we'll go ahead and fill this up with fuel so that we can demonstrate with the live torch. The instructions to fill the lighter say to apply firm pressure to allow fuel to flow into the product's fuel tank until full. Do not overfill. Now, it would be nice for Zippo to either give us an idea how long to fill it or give us some way to view the tank so we know. But if there's no way to see, or you're not told how long to fill it for, then the only way to really know that it is full is when you see gas coming out of it, because there's no more room for gas. So at that point, by definition, it is overfilled. But here we go. We're going to go ahead and pump some butane in here until it appears as though that it is losing more than it is taking. And we got a little bit coming out there, so that should definitely give us enough to demonstrate how this lighter is going to function. We will give that a couple of minutes and be back to demonstrate how the lighter works. Okay, so the reason we were waiting a couple of minutes was it tells you after filling the product, allow at least 2 minutes for the butane to stabilize before igniting. Now I'll go ahead and say we just used the Vector to fuel this up, and since I've had this, like I said, I recorded an unboxing. I was really excited about getting a hold of this torch and the fact that it had the dual use. It was relatively inexpensive. I think the day that I bought it on Amazon, it was only about $22 or $23. I had some problems myself understanding. I didn't realize at first it was telling you that you always have to ignite it with the blue torch. Now this seems to me to be a waste of fuel, and I'm not sure why it would be that way, but you have to light it with the blue torch and then switch the lever back, and that will give you the soft yellow flame. So that part I believe I've got figured out now that it works okay, but the safety on the back that's supposed to be activated by your palm, I could probably hold the base of the torch here with this hand, but again, that's using two hands. Got our selector forward, which should be the blue torch. Now, with one hand to depress the safety and depress the trigger. You can hear gas being released, but we're not getting ignition. This is possibly the worst designed consumer product that I've ever encountered. This is such a clunky mechanism to have to hold it back here and then at the same time hold it or pull the trigger, and at that point then you can let it go. But as far as a one-handed operation, this torch or lighter, whatever you want to call it, it's just not even usable. So you can see the issues here with the ignition, the safety trigger. If you take that trigger out of the equation, it's still not great. The actual trigger to ignite is pretty stiff, and it's much easier for me to bury it in my palm and pull with one of these two fingers than it is to actually hold as it appears that it's been designed to. So very disappointing design. The fact that they've got something like this rolling out of the factory with their name on it is dumbfounding to me. But just to show you a couple of things. Number one is to show you the way that it functions just by depressing it with the other hand and igniting the lighter. So we got a blue flame, and then you switch it backward and you get your soft yellow flame. Now there is an adjustment over here that will adjust either of those flames up and down. Kind of hard to do them for a left-handed person when you got the whole thing buried in your hand just to make it work, and using two hands to light it at that. But just to make you aware of the fact that that adjustment is there, and you set it all the way down, the lighter will not ignite at all. Turn it up just a hair. It does light there, but it wouldn't give the, yeah, maybe we need to turn it up a little bit more. It's been my experience that it needs to be up off the bottom by a pretty good length before it will ignite. There we go. And then we have the yellow flame. So that's all well and good. Blue, yellow, blue. I don't like the fact that you have to ignite it with the torch flame, the blue flame. But at least that part of it works as it should. The actual working of the lighter, the manipulation of the safety along with the trigger at the same time, well, there you can see I actually did it. I doubt if I can duplicate that though. And this is with great effort. And you know, I've told you guys several times my problems with carpal tunnel. My hands are damaged, but they're not damaged to the point that I can't do things usually. It's just, you know, I'm limited and in pain when doing them. Oh, there you go. I get it again. So, man, I hate to be so critical, and I love Zippo as a brand, but this product is inferior. Now, I was so disappointed by this actuating mechanism and my inability to be able to get it to work that I logged into Amazon, where I'd bought the torch in the first place, and attempted to return it. When I did so, it told me that this product was not returnable. So the way that ended up working out is they refunded my money immediately and told me to keep this product. So once that happened, I thought, well, I've dealt with this torch. I've been using it around the headquarters here for a couple of weeks now. The problem with the trigger is not only my own experience, but I put it in other people's hands as well and watched them try to manipulate the safety and the trigger at the same time. It was not something that could be repeated successfully on a regular basis. You can get lucky every now and then. You can squeeze just right and everything, but for the most part, we're talking two-handed operation just to get it lit. But like I said, then you can take your hand off of it, still manipulate, but man, what a clunky working of a lighter. So since they told me not to send it back, and I'm not telling you that you should do this, but to make it easier for me to use around the place, what I chose to do was to put a zip tie around the palm safety lock, whatever that device is called there. Make sure I get this as tight as I can. Yeah. Alright, so then I'll cut that off. So once you have safety depressed, and you can always slide it off and then slide it back on. Well, once again, I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying at least this made this torch or this lighter one hand usable for me. Even just pulling the trigger is very hard. But if you bury the palm in your hand, and then you can get the soft yellow flame as well. Until next time.